Supposed to protect and serve me, right?
That's right.
They say they supposed to protect and serve, but they don't do that, and they kill sisters like yourself. They get off. They shoot brothers. How old is your son right here with the glasses? How old was Tamir Rice? 15. Tamir Rice was 12, and they shot him. Didn't they shoot him because they said he had a gun or something like that? Had a toy gun. And they shot that young man, 12-year-old kid. Don't the toy gun got the yellow at the tip? Yeah. They supposed to know, and they supposed to be trained. They got on the scene and they killed them. You understand what I'm saying? In cold blood. So that's why we out here, because you know what we got to start doing? We got to start doing a little bit of what the Black Panthers did, right? We got something better than what the Black Panthers did. I'm gonna tell you why, because I know y'all from Sacramento, so I understand that y'all understand the Black Panther movement, right? One thing, and the reason why we're a step ahead of the Black Panthers is because we have a law to govern ourselves under. See, the Black Panthers were trying to be a political party, right? They were trying to they had some good things. They started the WIC program, right? They were trying to feed the inner cities. But one thing that they didn't have is a law to govern themselves. But you know what we have to start doing that they did? They police their own communities. You understand what I'm saying? So guess what? If the cops pull you over, all the brothers getting out. We community watch right here for our communities. Just like Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman. What was George Zimmerman supposed to be? Community watch, right? He was supposed to be watching his community. Now it's time for us to watch ours. So every time the white devils harass us, guess what we gonna do? We gonna pull over and we gonna watch him. We gonna watch him. And now we ain't pulling out no cameras to watch him. We got our guns in our hands to watch him.
That's right.
Because ain't that our First Amendment right? See, this is the revolution we talking about right here. So now guess what? You'll feel a little safer, wouldn't you? Well, you know my black men, they gonna save me. But you know what? We gotta first get rid of the hate, because our black men hate our black sisters, our so-called black sisters.
Right.
Our Latino, so-called Latino man hate our so-called Latino sisters. I'm going to show you. Give me Deuteronomy 28, start at verse 54. And these are some of the curses that my brother broke down so beautifully. Yeah. Right?
All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Hebrew Israelite Neighborhood Watch is going off. Bottom line, you are going off. Now you got a new Israelite group, and then I don't know how new they are. You know, knowing how pride works, they'll probably hear me say new and get all, we ain't new. Well, you are new. Okay, you wasn't around last year. You wasn't around, well, you might have been around last year, but you wasn't around 5 years ago. As you see the one dude that's speaking with the baby face and the razor sharp lineup, right? You heard the guy speaking. Now I believe the guy in the opening, I think his name, which is plastered all over the page, the guy's name is Ratazan Sharian. All right, in this group, they go by the name of Believers of the Way, Yahweh Shai. Okay. Now, from what I see, these guys are like baby zealots. Okay, they're baby zealots. Take a little bit of Sakari, put in a dash of Grandmaster J in the NFAC. You know, get a little bit of IUIC light, and throw it into a blender, and then these guys come out. Okay, baby zealots with a little bit of hip hop on the side. Now the page is Believers of the Way, and you just take a quick glance at it, and it's amazing how the spirit works. Because I actually was looking at a video these guys did when they went into the Christian church, and I was actually going to speak on it because they was going off. They mentioned something about Saturday. How the Hebrews, something that to the fact that they kept the Sabbath on Saturday or some shit, which is completely going off. But you can see the pride on the guy, on this baby zealot. He got a lot of pride. You can see right here, inaccuracy of the 12 tribe sign. So let me get it straight. The apostles and elders of Great Millstone have been teaching for over 30 years, right? And other brothers in like manner after them, and you're gonna come along and point out the inaccuracies of the 12 tribe sign. Amazing. It's pride, man. And as you just go through they videos, you can just see LA riots for the death of George Floyd, Bow, which is Believers of the Way, and Sakari team up for Unity Camp. So there you go. You already know now. See, now I don't know if this video is actually what they're saying, justified by faith only. I don't have to keep the law, it's done. I don't know if they're saying that. I can't stand to watch any more of it. You know, just why. And these guys had another video dealing with fornication, which I'm pretty sure. Well, I can't be for sure, but it seems like well, anyway, man, these guys are going off, man. Let's just say it like that. These guys are going off. You're telling people they're gonna take their guns and they're gonna police their neighborhoods, their communities, as it were, and you ain't got no community. Hebrew Israelites don't have any communities, and they keep throwing in words black community, black sisters. And when you ever hear that, you already know. And the reason why it's like that, let's fast forward a little bit. This is the reason why it's like that. That's why they talking about sisters this and sisters, because they got their wives at the camp. Look at this, man. Their children, got children out there. Look at it. Got children out there and women. See? There's so many things that's wrong when you watch this video, but whatever. It's this guy. Fringes, red shoes. Right? When you go back, they got that look, that military, got the boots. You know, this guy to the side, this guy over here to the left. This guy with his mouth open. This guy look like Nick Ashford with his mouth open. Anyway, this ain't that kind of video, man. Just wanted to point out, you got to go into the scriptures and bring this stuff out, man. You brothers and sisters out there, be warned. You are not to be following this group, man. But if you do follow them, you follow them to the peril of your own overthrow. This is Romans 16, verse 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. And when you look at the word mark, here it says what? Let's look at it real briefly. Let's play the word.
Strong's G 4648, scapeo. Scapeo.
You riding around with a loaded rifle in your seat? You riding around with a loaded rifle in your seat? Damn Edomite, Salakia, y'all. Yeah, so the word is scopeo. And it says to look at, observe, contemplate, to mark, to fix one's eyes upon, direct one's attention to anyone, to look to, take heed to thyself. So you brothers and sisters, take heed of these guys, believers of the way, because they got all the makings and the trimmings of one of them groups, man. Just watch out, because they, you know, just carnal as shit. And y'all forgive me for that chatter in the background. Damn Edomite at work, man. You know, it's like whenever you try to come outside, it's always like eyes on you or whatever. He took his damn rifle out of the car. He's taking it inside, man. People crazy. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. See, mark the people, bring out what they going off on, what they doing wrong, right? Let the congregation know and avoid them. Excuse me. Barakatah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 18 says, for they that are such serve not our Lord Yahweh Shai, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. And that's what it is. Anytime you hear an Israelite group steadily talking about this, our black and Latino sisters and this and that, you already know where that's going, man. Right? And another thing that I noticed, these guys, they mention, always guys like this mentioning the law and talking about Yahweh Shai. You got Yahweh Shai in your name, but yet you ain't doing what Yahweh Shai did. Yahweh Shai didn't never say go patrol the neighborhood. When did he say do that? He never told anybody to patrol the neighborhood, man. Let's get real quick here. First and foremost, let's grab Romans 8. And this is going to be a quick lesson, man. Romans 8, verse 5. And I learned about this through a couple of other brothers, man. GMS from the main camp, up and coming elder Ya'ar Zion. He did a video. I don't have it on the screen right now, but his page is Israelite Covenant Bar. He did the first video on it, and then I saw, I think his brother, I don't know the brother's name, from the GMS Great Waters Camp. He did a video on it as well, up in Buffalo, GMS Buffalo. And then you had the brother out of the Atlanta camp did a lesson on it too. And it seemed like I recall seeing another brother with a lesson on it as well. I think it was entitled Believers of What Way. And y'all gotta forgive me. Alright, so that's how I learned about this video. I stumbled across those brothers' videos and I saw it. It immediately made my blood boil. But I'm gonna try to keep it in perspective. This is Romans chapter 8 and verse 5 says, for they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, for they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. And we're to be in the spirit. And when you're in the spirit, you walking after the ways of Yahweh Shai, and you remain in spiritual and not carnal. When you say take up, when the police pull you over, and we gonna be, all the brothers gonna get out, and they gonna come with their guns in their hand, and you gonna, and you're gonna fuck around, and you're gonna get shot. Which really, a lot of groups like these are just being set up, man, in the last days. And this guy over here to his left, he still hadn't closed his mouth yet. And you can just see they really knew, man. These guys don't know what's going on. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. So when you're saying you're gonna take weapons and you're gonna patrol, you're gonna take weapons and you're gonna troll the police when they pulling somebody over, what do you think is gonna happen, man? Here it is, the police got somebody pulled over, and then 12 niggas show up with guns watching the police. They're gonna call for backup, and then you're gonna have yourselves a standoff. And you're gonna possibly fuck around, and you're gonna get took down, man. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit, if so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you. Now if any man have not the spirit of Hamashiach, he is none of his. And I just thought of something. Back in the days, I used to have a term that I would call guys like this, and that's Hebrew hijackalites. These new guys that come up on the scene, they get themselves a name, and Elder Pastor Hart been talking about it lately. They'll listen to it, because I noticed this guy, Believers of the Way, have been on my comment board several times on the live streams saying Shalom. You see, they got the name Yahweh Shai. They didn't learn that from themselves, man. You got these guys that come up with these doctrines. They take parts that they like, they put in other parts that that are not present in the doctrine, and they form their own doctrine. See, this guy been watching, but he got an issue with the 12 tribe signs. See, you see that? So there's no telling what number of things they're teaching and going off on. I know they also believe that Saturday, Friday, sundown to Saturday, sundown is the Sabbath all the time, which is wrong. If you see this title right here, Radical Ratazan gets big mad with Israel and piss off angry traffickers. Radical Ratazan. See? So with all these eyes on the Hebrew Israelites, and you saying you're radical and this and that, you gotta be very careful, man. And the term Hebrew hijackalites, that's those that rise up and they think they're gonna hijack the gospel like they're the elders now. See? And I'm telling you, man, I can see the pride beaming off this guy. Bottom line, you got a lot of pride. You got a lot of pride and a big mouth, okay? And that's a terrible combination, pride and a big mouth. Anyway, as the scripture told you plainly, Romans. So then, 8 and 8, let's start it back at 7. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High, for it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. When you talk about taking guns, you're going to go and confront the police. When they pull somebody over, then you being carnal as hell, man. Okay? Now, you're going to have certain, all the Israelites are going to have an issue with what we bringing out, right? But if you say you are believers of the way and you put Yahweh Shai in your name, then you're saying you're following his example. What was his example? This is Matthew 26 and 50. Right? We'll start at 48. It says, now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he, holding fast. Let's start back at 47. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude, with swords and staves, from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, the same is he, holding fast. And forthwith he came to Yahushua and said, hail, master, and kissed him. And Yahushua said unto him, friend, wherefore art thou come hither? Wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Yahushua and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. Then said Yahushua unto him, put up again thy sword into his place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. You see? So Yahushua said, don't be using the sword, right? He said, put up again thy sword into its place, for all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. So you know what? Bow, radical, Ratazan, you teaching people. You're going to patrol your neighborhoods. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You teaching people how to perish, man. He says further, thinkest thou that I cannot now pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? But how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled that thus it must be? And Yahushua is saying we got to fulfill prophecy. And the prophecy does not say we're going to rise up and deliver ourselves, that we're going to raise up, we're going to make the police respect us, we're going to make the authorities do what we want them to do. They're going to see things our way. We're going to patrol our neighborhoods, and we're going to nation build. That's all doctrines of men. It's doctrines of men. As a matter of fact, when the police roll up, and even if these guys always got an angle, not these particular guys, but these carnal Israelites always have an angle. They'll say if they live in a state they can open carry, that's the reason why you should there's no problem with them taking their guns and going to camp. But like I always say, they'll say they follow the laws of the land. Well, if you live in a state where the law says 2 men can be together, are you going to do that too? If you live in a state where they say that marijuana is legalized, are you also going to smoke? That's just an excuse, okay? That's just an excuse. Now, this is Romans 13. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power of the Most High. The powers that be are ordained of the Most High. Whosoever therefore resisted the power resisted the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Now, you brought up the example of was the guy Tamir Rice with a toy weapon, and he got shot down by the cops, right? How much more when you teach people that are Israelites, right, to take up weapons and patrol the neighborhoods, and when the cops pull somebody over, you're gonna take a gun and you're gonna have your gun in your hand. What do you think is gonna happen, man? It's not wise. It says, whosoever therefore resisted the power, and the power is who? Esau is an authority, and they cops. Now, even if they say you can open carry, you know that they're really they looking at you in a different fashion, and you shouldn't teach the sheep to do that. Now, at the end of the day, if you want to own a weapon and it's legal, you can do so. But when you approach the powers that be, when you approach law enforcement with your weapons drawn, that's a whole different conversation right there. And you shouldn't be teaching people that. Whosoever therefore resisted the power resisted the ordinance of the Most High, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. You see? Salakia. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then be not afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same, for he is the minister of the Most High to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain, for he is the minister of the Most High, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. And the wrath of the Lord is going to come upon you, man, for teaching the flock in that manner. Also, when you go to 1 Peter 2 and round about verse 13, it says, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors as unto them that are sent by him, for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. For so is the will of the Most High, that with well-doing he may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of the Most High. Right? You don't use your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, as you see here, man. You're using the fact that, and I don't know the laws in California, but if the law in California states that you can open carry, you don't use that liberty for a cloak of maliciousness to tell the sheep to do unwise things, man. Salakia. You don't use that cloak. You don't use that liberty as a cloak of maliciousness to teach the sheep unwise things. And while you got the rest of the lost sheep watching this, you know Israelites they want to be involved so bad. So when you see this, yeah, you got more women and children out there than you goddamn camp members, man. But you know what? You can't hardly tell Jake nothing. They don't listen, man. They don't listen very well. So as the scriptures say, man, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, man. You're supposed to do right. And just because if they say you can open carry, you can pack heat, don't mean you ought to do it. Especially when it comes to approaching law enforcement. right? Especially with all the tension that's in the streets, you know? And that's just simple. You just being damn simple and you being carnal, man. And really, Hebrew Israelite neighborhood watch is going off, man. The Most High didn't send you to watch, to try to watch over your neighborhood. You're supposed to be teaching the word. Matter of fact, here's the commands that the Lord said. If you claiming you're followers of the way of Yahweh Shai, followers of the way Yahweh Shai, then what you supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be doing as the Lord did. And this is what he told men when he sent them out to teach. Matthew 10:5. These 12 Yahweh Shai sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So you're going, you're right. You're supposed to teach and preach and go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? And as ye go, preach. That was his command. He didn't say go open up damn soup kitchens, build communities, right? He didn't say do that, pack heat. He said as you go, preach. That's your only job, is to preach. Their main job. Let me change that, because Jacob say they'll go in the scriptures and find where it says feed the hungry or feed the sheep, and they'll twist that. But your main job is feeding the sheep spiritually, preaching the word. And as you go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give. And it goes on, provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor a scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves. What are staves? Staves are weapons. For the workman is worthy of his meat. Here's a command, and into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire in it who is worthy, and abide till ye go thence. So when you go and you're going to preach, you don't supposed to take weapons with you. Right? You're not to be patrolling the neighborhood. The Lord said, preach and inquire in it who is worthy. And that's all you're supposed to be doing. The main job you're to do as a servant of Yahweh Shai, man. Right? Now I know some crooked neck Israelite gonna pop up out of the primordial ooze and holler about Yahweh Shai said get 2 swords. Okay, now that was at a different time. We just read Matthew chapter 10, right? This is when the Lord commissioned men to go out and preach. This is at a different time. Listen to what he says here. This is Luke 22 and 34. I'll start at 33. And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee both into prison and to death. And he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day before that thou shalt thrice deny that thou knowest me. And he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lack ye anything? And they said nothing. He said, look, when I sent you out to preach the word, did you lack anything? See, that's the difference. The Lord didn't just teach a gospel where he said be nonviolent, then you could go take your weapon with you. He told them in Matthew chapter 10, right? When he sent them to preach, he said, don't take weapons. You don't need a stave, right? Because he goes back to it. He said, and he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lack ye anything? And they said nothing. Then said he unto them, but now, this is a different time, but now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. This is at a different time. Right now, as the scriptures tell you, there's a time, right? There's a time for this and a time for that. It's in Ecclesiastes, excuse me, y'all, chapter 3. Hope I didn't mess that up. Yeah, I did. Let's do this. Salakia. There's a time for everything under the sun. While you're preaching the gospel, while it's time to preach, and you can clearly see in the scriptures, that's not time to be packing weapons. The time for that is not here. Ecclesiastes 3 and 1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. See that? It's a time for everything, man. If you go here, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. Right now you're in the time of building up, right? Building up the ministry and building up, which is edification. When you edify, you build. You're in the time of edification. A time to weep and a time to dance, a time to laugh and a time to mourn. Salakia. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. See? So there's a time for everything. Let's see here. Verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace, right? And we're at spiritual war right now. You're not at literal war. And you know, and this is getting old, man. This is getting old. It's the same old thing with these Israelite groups. They're gonna continue to do this, and a lot of these guys are just set up, man, to demonize the truth in general. And if you got a problem with what I'm saying, any of you got a problem with what I'm saying, this guy, you've been on my comment board before. I don't know if it was Ratazan or one of the other guys, but if you got a problem, hey, I'm not hard to find, you know. And I'm just saying it for the simple fact is, you act like we saying things and we don't apply them to ourselves, or you think that we're not man enough to face you when it comes to the scriptures, and that's just not true. You see, you going off, man. You going off, Ratazan, radical Ratazan. You going off, and you're leading the followers astray, man. Right? And the same way you know your way to the comment board to come and listen in on the live stream to learn the scriptures from Great Millstone. The same way you could come, and if you got an issue, you can come and speak like men, right? But you going off. This is Luke 22, verse 35. And he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lack ye anything? And they said, nothing. Then said he unto them, but now he that hath the purse, let him take it away, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. Now Jacob go crazy right there, right? But listen to this. For I say unto you that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And the same is going to be applied to us. We know we're going to be reckoned among the transgressors. They're going to say we did this and did that. They're going to use groups like this and zealots and other things to tie us all in, because the only real threat is the 100% pure truth of Yahushua, man. Okay? Which is Great Millstone. So we know we're going to be reckoned among transgressors, but we still need to put this out there for you sheep. Because as I continue to see, most of you Israelites don't know what the hell is going on. You just see fringes and you lose your goddamn mind. Fringes, brother. You don't know what the fuck is going on, you know. But as the scriptures say, such is for death, or gonna go to death. Such is for the sword to the sword, and such is for the captivity to the captivity. So you know, but we still got our job to do. Verse 38 says, and they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. Why did he say that? Because it wasn't meant for everybody to take up weapons, man. Right? It's better to have a sword and not need it than to have it. Have a sword and not to need it than need it and not have it. So obviously, you know, it's just written that way, man. Right? Because look, there was way more people than just 2 guys. If he meant for everybody to have weapons, they would have said, as the scripture said, and they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. How is 2 swords enough for a whole group of 12 and then additional people on the side? How is that enough? It shows you that it wasn't meant for them to be packing weapons like that. And even when they did come, we read in the other account, when Peter cut off the ear, what did the Lord say? He said, all they that take up the sword shall perish with the sword. And these guys are teaching you wrong. It's a thinly veiled disguise. They cover it up with all them smooth words, old black sisters, Latino sisters, this, Tamir Rice, and inside he inserts the madness by telling you to take up weapons, right, and go patrol your neighborhoods, man. It's completely going off, 100%. Hebrew Israelite neighborhood watch is going off.